नमस्ते सबैजनालाई तपाईले स्वागत छ भिडियो च्यानल आकाश बालुजी म आकाश राउत एमबीएस फाइनल इयर स्टुडेन्ट इन्स्टिट्युट अफ मेडिसिन मेडिकल क्याम्पसबाट यो डायलग बोल्दा बोल्दै लागिरहेछ मलाई जीवनको सबभन्दा ठुलो बढी बोलेको यही डायलग होला के एन्ड हामी निकै दिनपछि फेरि बोलिरहेका छौँ त्यही भएर एन्ड देन आजको भिडियो के बारेमा हो त क्लास 12 का स्टुडेन्टहरूले क्लास 12 का एक्जाम दिइरहेका छन् यसपछि भनेको हाम्रो नेपालमा एउटा दुई तीनवटा ट्रेन्ड आइसकेको छ एउटा एमबीबीएस ट्राई गर्ने अरू इन्जिनियरिङ ट्राई गर्ने केही नभए सीएमा जाने तर म एउटा नयाँ तपाईहरुको फ्याकल्टी जुन छ बायोमेडिकल इन्जिनियरिङ यो के हो के कस्तो यसमा प्रोस्पेक्ट हुन्छ भनेर यो पार्ट 1 भिडियोमा ल्याएको छु र यो पार्ट 1 भिडियोमा हामीले कुरा गरेका छौं कलेज अफ बायोमेडिकल इन्जिनियरिङ एन्ड एप्लाइड साइन्सेस का एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर मिशल पोखरेल सँग र उनीसँग हामीले कुरा गरेको छौं बायोमेडिकल इन्जिनियरिङ के हो त्यसको के कस्ता प्रोस्पेक्ट हुन्छन् रिसर्चको के कस्ता काम हुन्छन् त्यसमा के कस्तो हुन्छ भन्ने भेरियस कुराहरु यो पार्ट 1 भिडियोमा हालेको छु रिमेनिङ कुराहरु पार्ट 2 भिडियोमा हाल्ने छु सो पहिला तपाईहरु इन्जोय गर्नुस् यो पार्ट 1 भिडियो
That's completely understandable.
I'm so thankful to you for accepting my request कि मैले हजुरलाई एकपल्ट भने नि हजुरले रेस्पोन्ड गर्नुभयो
Definitely, I always even if you ask my students, I always make sure that they get the best out of what they are studying. Because when you're doing something, it's not only about intelligence; it's about gaining knowledge as well, right? So that's what my philosophy lies in as well. So I make sure that the students learn the best way possible as well.
And I have heard about you from various students of yours कि किनभने तपाईले भर्खरै कलेज पनि रिसर्चको त्यो निकाल्नु भएको थियो एन्ड मेरो पनि धेरैजना चिनेको बायोमेडिकल कलेजहरुमा छन् अनि तिनीहरुले हजुरकै नाउँ फर्स्टमै लिएको अनि त्यही भएर आई थट अफ जस्ट त्यो के भन्छ कन्ट्याक्टिङ यु अनि उनीहरुले नै मलाई तपाईको त्यो दिएको
Who as if you take names, I might know them.
सुषमा दुलाल and then अभिषेक अधिकारी similarly विद्या
अभिषेक अधिकारी भनेको त पास आउट भइसकेको मान्छे
हैन फेसबुकमा कन्ट्याक्ट रहेछ
okay I know them.
And then Sushma Dulal first year, similarly Vidya Maharjan first year.
विद्या सुषमा र विद्या म उनीहरुसँग तर पढाएको त छैन फर्स्ट इयरलाई कहिले पनि मैले हैन but it's weird that it's good to know that at least someone knows me because first year students I haven't taught them yet.
And मैले उनीहरुलाई डाइरेक्टली सोध्दाखेरि अनि हजुरकै फर्स्टमा नाउँ लेख्यो and then I thought of messaging you first and then you responded and I'm so thankful to you sir again.
No worries, I'm really grateful. I'm thankful for you to give me this opportunity as well. I hope it's okay if I speak in English, right? Because मेरो नेपाल अलिकति राम्रो चाहिँ छैन हैन because I've never stayed in Nepal. So is it okay if I Nepali English दुईटै मिक्स गरेर बोल्छु न
Because every viewers can understand both English as well as Nepali, so my English is not so good and that's why I will speak English sometimes.
It's communication at the end. You must know how to communicate. That's it, I think.
Can we start the formal session, sir?
Yes, definitely.
Sir, your introduction.
Okay, so my name is Mishal Pokhrel. I am from Birtamod, Java, and I am a biomedical engineer with specialization in tissue engineering. I completed my schooling from Darjeeling and my bachelor's from Manipal Institute of Technology in Manipal. And then I did my master's in University of Sheffield, UK. And currently, as I'm speaking, I'm actually doing an online PhD right now, online because I haven't been able to go to the US, but I've started my PhD as well. And it's basically in targeted drug delivery systems to cancer cells. So yeah, that's pretty much about me.
Sir, in Nepal, everyone is lagging behind MBBS and engineering. Then how could you being preferred being a biomedical engineer? That's a very new faculty for with respect to Nepal. Then how you proceed in biomedical engineering?
I think there's two answers to that. First of all, I think it's in the mindset of every Nepali parent that मेरो छोरा चाहिँ इन्जिनियर या डक्टर हुनुपर्छ भन्ने हैन अब स्पेशली अब फेरि बायोमेडिकल इन्जिनियर भन्दाखेरि के हो त्यो भनेर भन्छ मान्छेले दे डोन्ट नो मोस्ट अफ इट हैन अब I studied outside. I have never studied in Nepal. मजाले इन्डिया नै पढेँ I think that could be one of the reasons that I was exposed to different kinds of fields. For example, when I was in my high school itself, I was exposed to biotechnology, not biomedical engineering, but biotechnology. And that's what led me to thinking, because I was always good. Like, you should always do what you enjoy. You should always study what you enjoy, right? And I was always good at engineering, and I liked the medical part of it as well. But my eldest brother is a doctor, and I saw the books. Books they right? So I was like, what lies in between? So like medical and engineering, a combination of both, a coalition of both. And that's when I came across biomedical engineering, and I was like, yeah, this is the right field for me.
And sir, before starting on our conversation, how do you remember your college and mainly your bachelor life and life in India?
My bachelor life was pretty entertaining, let me tell you that. Biomedical engineering is not something that is easy because it has a combination of the three most difficult fields. And one is MBBS, right? The second is electronics and electrical engineering, and the third is electronics and communication engineering. So all these three fields combined to form something called biomedical engineering, right? So yes, I mean most of the time it was definitely going on just studying and doing assignments and things like that. And I've stayed in hostel all my life, so it wasn't new to me. But then again, it was a very good experience. Let me tell you that. I mean, Manipal is a wonderful place. Like it's a college town. I know. I One thing I really feel Nepalese students don't get to experience, especially people who are studying in Nepal, is the environment. I mean, definitely MBBS students because you've got, I mean, teaching has its own campus, PPKHS has its own campus, Kumbini College has its own campus, but your, what you call your Manipal and the Pokhrel Manipal has its own campus as well. So medical students definitely get to experience a good like college life. But then apart from that, I feel you don't really have a good experience, college experience, like because like in Manipal, if I wanted to stay awake like till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock and study in the library, that is possible. But in Nepal, I don't think so. It happens anywhere. Even in my college right now, where I'm teaching, if students want to, there's no environment which facilitates the growth of intelligence in students, right? There's environment for going outside and eating, yes, definitely. But then there's no environment where like colleges actually provide. It's more of a commercially run business than for the sake of students, right? So in that way, Manipal was brilliant. Actually, yes, definitely, it's a little expensive on the expensive side, but then they gave what they basically portrayed, right? And I had a wonderful experience. It was like one of the best 4 years of my life. I mean, except for the weather, because I went from Darjeeling to straight to Manipal, and then it was crazy hot, and then but it's a brilliant educational institution.
And sir, what actually is biomedical engineering for a newbie like to me? Then how would you explain biomedical engineering?
Okay, so usually when people talk about biomedical engineering, के भन्छ भन्दाखेरि biomedical engineering भनेको चाहिँ हस्पिटलमा जे मेडिकल इक्विपमेन्टहरू छ त्यो मेडिकल इक्विपमेन्टहरूको इन्जिनियर हो भनेर भन्छ क्या. And they are not wrong. That's one aspect of it. होइन, तर biomedical engineering is actually a huge field. अहिले speaking in the world, more than doctors and other kind of engineering for mechanical engineering, it's biomedical engineering, chemical engineering, and biotechnologies that are in huge demand, right? Now, biomedical engineering is not only related to engineering, like in a way that it's only like you just look after, you just do the repair and like replacement of engineering parts and then health equipment. There's even a lot of research included in it. There's a lot of industrial activity included in it, right? And it divides into various aspects. And for example, my specialization is in tissue engineering. And about tissue पनि कसरी engineer गर्छ भनेर, I'm sure that's one question you have as well. But then being a medical student, you know that it's not difficult. For example, if you've got a burn patient, and I went to Kirtipur Hospital and I actually looked at how difficult the plastic surgeons find it.
अहिले भर्खरै सर
Plastic,
त्यहाँ अहिले स्किनको लागि
sorry?
पनि टिस्यु कल्चरको लागि पनि अहिले नयाँ त्यो बनेको छ रिसर्च ल्याब किर्तिपुरमा हैन सर.
It's skin culture चाहिँ गर्दैन फेरि. No, they don't do skin culture गर्दैन. Like they've no one donates. The concept of donation doesn't exist in Nepal. अब कस्तो छ भन्दाखेरि तिमीलाई प्लास्टिक सर्जन्सहरूलाई जब मैले गरेर प्रेजेन्टेसन गरेँ, there's something called regenerative medicine, there's something called tissue engineering भन्दाखेरि like renowned plastic surgeons of Nepal were like, okay, something like this exists. यस्तो प्रोजेक्टहरू पनि हुन्छ भनेर सोच्दै. So biomedical engineering in general, yes, के अरे तिमीलाई जुन चाहिँ इक्विपमेन्टहरू हस्पिटलमा हुन्छ त्योसँग डिल गर्ने होइन, त्यो अब नेपालको कन्टेक्स्टमा हो. किन नेपालमा रिसर्च एन्ड डेभलपमेन्ट भन्ने त कुनै पनि फिल्डमा छैन होइन रिसर्च एन्ड डेभलपमेन्ट भन्ने छैन तर बायोमेडिकल इन्जिनियरिङमा चाहिँ रिसर्च एन्ड डेभलपमेन्ट भन्ने चाहिँ इज अ ह्युज एस्पेक्ट किनभने इट्स एन अपकमिङ फिल्ड okay so definitely I mean it's a huge branch you know there's many specializations to it okay so yeah that's about it.
Sir, is the biomedical engineering midway between medicine engineering and biotechnology, or it's a different field from that?
It's a little you're right about being midway between medical and engineering but then it's there's very little biotechnology to it but recently what is happening is many colleges not in let's say not in definitely not in Nepal not in South Asia either right they're mainly outside like European countries and especially America Australia what they're doing is they're combining biomedical engineering and biotechnology because it's a field that complements each other okay so it's like anatomy and physiology you need to make sure that they complement the structure and the function definitely complement right so it's something similar to that.
Sir, is the faculty biomedical engineering new to Nepal?
Not really. Nepal has already, I think, around 11 batches passed out from there. The engineering college currently in Harigaon. I know. Around 11 batches are going to pass out. I think this is the 12th batch that's going to pass out. When I joined, I think this is the 11th batch. So it's definitely not new. It's been almost 10, 11 years. And it's going on, it's going good, like, but it's the only college of biomedical engineering that's present in Nepal.
So can you please elaborate, as it has now 11th batches, but a student like me even had not known about that. What are the demerits or the cons of the education system of Nepal that has not flourished the biomedical engineering as a very emerging faculty like any other faculty?
Okay, that's actually a very good question and something that should be addressed a lot in Nepal. Like I told you when you first like emailed me as well, right? Like the educational system in Nepal needs a drastic change, you know, especially with regards to making it into a commercial business. Yes, education is a kind of business, definitely. There's no doubt about that. But then first, you need to make sure that you focus on the primary goal, that is in educating the students, which is something that I think even you, as an MBBS student, will agree to me that it's something that is lacking in Nepal all around, whether it's regard to medical, whether it's regard to biomedical engineering, and many other things. अब अर्को कुरा के भइदियो भन्दाखेरि when it comes to biomedical engineering, like you said, mainly people just think, hey, you the hospital ma gera kaam गर्नुपर्छ अरू त केही छैन भने जस्तो हुन्छ नि त but it's not unless and unless you come into the fourth year and you realize like okay यसको त कत्रो ठुलो scope रहेछ भन्ने कुरा most people don't know that and the biggest issue is that most people don't understand that biomedical engineering ke ho but like many students who come into the college and ask about what is biomedical engineering but maybe the advertising isn't good enough college advertising अलिक पुगेको छैन हैन what kind of students do you approach भन्ने कुरा उनीहरु अलिकति बुझेको छैन होला अब definitely that takes a lot more अलिकति time लाग्छ I think it's going to take some time to set up and mainly I think it's because there's only one college maybe if there were a few other colleges when you've got competition you always want to do better than the other right competition भएपछि अलिकति राम्रो हुन्छ नि त but if there's no competition you just sit back and relax if your normal quota is what 50 students and then if you have 50 students come in why would you go and advertise to 1,000 students and say come and study in my institution that doesn't make sense right so I think the main thing is there's no competition it's a monopoly right when NTC was there was no competition like they gave us bad network but when NCEL came NTC was like okay yeah I can give you for cheap as well it was possible before but then it didn't happen until unless you have competition.
How do you compare the biomedical engineering that is being taught in Nepal with respect to India? Is the research field that is more developed in India or it is same like as in Nepal?
It's pretty much similar. The course structure is pretty much similar. I mean, again, like I said, it includes the majority of engineering subjects, and then you've got medical subjects, and in between you've got a lot of subjects like biomaterials, which are a little different to both the medical field and the engineering field. It's a little more different. And the main कुरा चाहिँ के भन्दाखेरि like when I studied in Manipal, the main benefit of studying in Manipal biomedical engineering was like Manipal had its own medical college as well. So whenever we wanted to do research, what is the job of a biomedical engineer as a researcher? It's to understand what aspects of the human body is something wrong. What aspects of the human body like is it wrong in engineering? Kids are wrong by that. So injury over the by that. But your best मैले कोबाट लिन सक्छु भन्दाखेरि डक्टरबाट हुन्छ हैन so when I started doing a cardiovascular research project under a doctor in Manipal itself so that aspect of त्यो चाहिँ नेपालमा चाहिँ एक्जिस्टेन्स छैन and त्यही माथि नेपालको अब sorry to say this हैन तर नेपालको डक्टरहरु कस्तो भने अब they are a little arrogant हुन्छ नि तिम्रो इन्जिनियर हैन तिम्रो इन्जिनियर त हो because I said my so basically I wanted to do this cartilage project where I was looking for a non-conventional treatment of method for cartilage engineering. I needed some cartilage. I think it was NMC or some hospital in Jodhpur. I'm not sure. I think there's a big hospital somewhere in Jodhpur. So they went over there, and even when they asked like for cartilage, like I mean, definitely there's so many operations going on. You are going to bound to waste some cartilage or some bone, right? And at that point of time, the doctors didn't cooperate. They're like saying that you guys don't know anything. Why do you want to do it? Yeah. So in Nepal, I think one thing is there's like people are always scared of something that they don't know.
सिक्न भन्दा नि बढी डर हुन्छ कि त्यही मलाई इफ आएन त्यो गरेन भने मेन डर भइरा हुन्छ अर्को कुरा एरोगेन्स हुन्छ न त्यस्तै गरे
Definitely, I think I think is the system more than like individual assessment and system takes up like from politics to everything is the same in the past.
And sir, research कतिको इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ सर बायोमेडिकल इन्जिनियरिङको लागि किनभने नेपालको पर्सपेक्टिभ नेपाल मैले हाम्रो मेरो धेरैजना चिनेको पर्सन त्यहाँ रिसर्च प्रोस्पेक्टमा धेरै कम स्टुडेन्टले गरिरहेको हुन्छ एन्ड यु आर टकिङ अबाउट रिसर्च सो रिसर्च कतिको इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ
research, I think research is important in any field. Right? If, for example, if I'm a tissue engineering specialist, right? In Nepal, I think burn is the second most, burn is the second highest most cause of deaths in Nepal. Burn we don't have any artificial skin. We don't have any kind of skin substitute present to make sure that burn patients don't face that. हाम्रो स्किन सब्स्टिट्युट्सहरु जे आउँछ इन्डियाबाट आउँछ हैन अब इफ आई ह्याड अ प्रपर ल्याब द रिजन आई एम डुइङ अ पीएचडी इज बिकज मलाई कसैले पठाउँदैन हैन अब दे लुक एट मी ए यङ छ अहिले जोस चलिरहेछ बट देन आई केम ब्याक टु नेपाल विथ द कन्सेप्ट अफ लाइक हुन्छ नि लाइक मेक श्योर दैट आई ट्राई टु मुभ माई कन्ट्री फरवर्ड फ्रम व्हाट आई हेभ डन एन्ड एनी कन्ट्री रिसर्च एन्ड डेभलपमेन्ट इज द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेन्ट पार्ट doesn't matter which field it is, even in your field, even in economics or in commerce, say civil engineering or say mechanical engineers, research is one of the most. That's why your fourth year thesis has the most credits. There's a reason it has the most credits. We fail to understand why, but then there's a reason it has the most credits because that's the most important part of the bachelor's, right? And research is a very important factor, especially when it comes to biomedical engineering, because you are trying to skip the normal pharmaceutical drugs and go into unconventional methods of treatment, which are novel ideas. Cancer like also treat goes. For example, let's talk about medical imaging. Well, the CT scan this has 16 slice CT. Now you've got 64, and then you've got 128. So how did this all come? For doctors, it's easy to say it just came one error. But you the biomedical engineering research got it didn't come without research. You don't create a product without doing research. And that's why PET scan I know. So PET, MRI, these are all products of research. Now you've got much more like better scanning machines which are coming out, medical imaging machines. And some machines can do a scan in like 10 seconds or like 20 seconds or 30 seconds. It's all about efficiency, improving the efficiency. And efficiency is all improved by how? By doing more and more research. Data acquisition, data analysis. These are important parts. Doesn't matter which field. Even if it's biomedical engineering, biotechnology, any field. For me, it's any field.
According to you, so research has been given as priority in Nepal or not in Nepalese education, according to you?
No, there is no priority to research. Research is looked down upon because, again, like I told you, it's about one anybody. A research one, what do people expect is like, oh, I'm a tissue engineer. What a tissue engineering one? I can just go and create a whole organ, can I? It takes time. होइन decades लाग्ला तर it's not only for me, this for the future generation as well, होइन like when the polio vaccine, when what we call, let's say, the first antibiotic came out, or some kind of the first vaccine came out, what happened was like it was based on research, but the person who invented it, he didn't really benefit from it, did he? I know the future generations benefited from it, but that's what we fail to understand. I mean, I'm not Nepali because के छ भन्दाखेरि अब हैन, let me, when I say Nepali, I count myself and also as well. So don't, I'm not a hypocrite. I count myself. What we expect is like मैले गर्ने बित्तिकै एउटा न एउटा चाहिँ रिजल्ट आइहाल्नु पर्छ के हैन. I want my return as soon as possible. And in research, you don't expect that. My PhD is going to be for 4-5 years. हैन. I could fail thousands of times, but at the end, it's about getting up and doing it again.
भाई लोग, आप लोगों ने देख लिया है पार्ट 1 भिडियो. अब धेरैजनालाई सोच्ला कि दाइले एकैपल्ट किन भिडियो अपलोड गर्दैनन्. सिम्पली भनौँ 20 मिनटभन्दा लामो भिडियो हुन्छ, त्यो प्रोसेसिङ हुन धेरै टाइम लाग्छ. एडिट गर्दाखेरि गर्दै 3-4 घन्टा मेरो ल्यापटप बिजी हुन्छ एन्ड मलाई अहिले पढ्नु पनि परेको छ फाइनल इयरको. त्यही भएर म सबै कुराहरू हुन्छ नि यो ल्यापटपबाट एकैपल्टमा धेरै ठुलो भिडियो प्रोसेस गर्दिनँ. म सानो भिडियो मात्र प्रोसेस गरिरहेको छु कि ल्यापटप कम टाइम लागि इन्डल्ज होस्. अर्को कुरा, आउने दिनमा म भिडियोजहरू भनेको 15 दिनमा पनि अपलोड गर्न सक्छु. टाइम भयो भने 15 दिनमा पनि नहुन सक्छ, किनभने मेरो जुनियर इन्टर्न स्टार्ट भएको छ. एन्ड देन यसमा साँच्चै भनौँ भने यति सब्जेक्ट हो, मेजर माइनर गरी यति सब्जेक्ट चाहिँ यति कम टाइममा पढ्नुपर्ने कि मैले आफू राम्ररी पढ्ने टाइमै भ्याइरहेको छैन. एन्ड हेर्नुहोस्, सबैभन्दा ठुलो कुरो यो युट्युब म मोटिभेट गर्न राखेको छु, तपाईँहरूलाई हेल्प गर्न राखेको छु. तर गड हेल्प दोज हु हेल्प देमसेल्भ्स के. सो मलाई पहिला हेल्प गर्न दिनुहोस्, त्यसपछि म तपाईँहरूलाई मजाले हेल्प गर्नेछु आफ्नो इन्टर्न टाइममा. सो तपाईँहरू आजको भिडियो कस्तो लाग्यो तपाईँहरूलाई, मलाई आई होप सो तपाईँहरूलाई राम्रो लागेको होला, किनभने धेरैजना स्टुडेन्टहरूलाई बायोमेडिकल इन्जिनियरिङ बारेमा थाहा थिएन. एन्ड एभ्री भिडियोमा जस्तो म मात्र बोलेर पनि हुँदैन, किनभने यो यस्तो छ उस्तो छ. जो मान्छेले त्यो कुरा पढेको छ, जो मान्छेले त्यो कुरा अप्लाई गरेको छ, उसलाई पक्कै धेरै नै थाहा हुन्छ हामीहरूभन्दा. त्यही भएर मैले यो भिडियो बनाएको छु. एन्ड यो पार्ट 1 भिडियो छ. पार्ट 2 भिडियोमा अरू कुराहरू पनि गरेको छौँ र आउने दिनमा मैले अहिले नै भनिदियो, मैले युएसएमएलमा सर्जरी पाएका नारायण ओष्टी दाईको पनि लिइसकेँ इन्टरभ्यू. सँगसँगै माया क्लिनिकमा एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर भएर काम गरिरहेका सिद्धार्थ यादव दाईको पनि लिइसकेँ इन्टरभ्यू. त्यस्तै बिएमएसको लागि पनि लिइसकेछु. बिडिएस इन जर्मनी गरेर पनि बस्नु भइरहेको छ. सबैको मैले भिडियो लिइसकेको छु होइन. इभन एग्रिकल्चरको पनि भिडियो लिइसकेको छु. सो पाइल अफ भिडियो छ अहिले तपाईँहरूको लागि, तर मैले टाइम एक्सेस पाइरहेको छैन त्यो अपलोड गर्नको लागि. आउने दिनमा म अपलोड गर्नेछु. इन्जिनियरहरूसँग पनि कुरा हुँदैछ, तर अलि टाइमको त्यो हुन्छ नि, दुवैजनाको मिसम्याच भएर मात्र नभएको म अपलोड गर्न पाएको. एन्ड थ्याङ्क यू. 9,000 हामी फ्यामिलीमा पुगिसकेको छौँ. आई होप सो यो महिना आउने 1 महिनामा हामी 10,000 पनि पुग्छौँ होला. तपाईँहरूले यस्तै माया गरिदिनु भयो भने र आउने दिनमा हामी अरू राम्रो ल्याउनु छौँ. मैले सोचेको मेड टक सेसन पनि थियो, तर मलाई लागिरहेको छ त्यो अलिक गाह्रै हुन्छ, किनभने एकदम हेक्टिक सेड्युल छ भाइ बहिनीहरू. म तपाईँलाई भन्न सक्दिनँ कि कति बढी एमबिबिएस फाइनल इयरमा पढ्नुपर्छ. अनि त्यो पढ्न पनि पुगेको छैन कि. यति कुरा पढ्नु छ तर मेन कुरा पढाइ नै पुगेको छैन. सो आफै पनि नराम्रो लाग्छ कि यति गाली पनि खाइन्छ न, पोस्टिङमा एन्सर नआउँदाखेरि कस्तो गाली खाइन्छ तपाईँहरू पछि गएर थाहा पाउनुहुन्छ. इभन आज पनि म पोस्टिङमा सरले 3वटा क्वेसन सोध्नुभयो, एउटा जवाब दिएँ, 2-3वटा जवाबै दिन सकिनँ. सो यति बढी कुराहरू पढ्ने हुन्छ कि टाइमै भ्याइँदैन क्या, यति भने नि. सो एमबिबिएस फाइनल इयर पछि त हामीसँग टाइमै टाइम छ. मेरो इन्टर्नसिप हुन्छ, त्यति बेला हामी धेरै नै भिडियो बनाउनेछौँ. तपाईँहरू मात्र मलाई यो 6 महिना कपरेट 6-7 महिना कपरेट गरिदिनुहोस्. त्यसपछि बम्पर टाइपको सोजहरू आउनेछ कि हाम्रो यही च्यानलमा, र म तपाईँहरूलाई एकदमै हेल्प गर्न त्यो छु के. तर अलि टाइमको कमी छ र तपाईँहरू राम्ररी पढ्नुहोस्. म कमन इन्ट्रान्स इक्जामको पनि विद्यार्थीहरूको लागि केही सजेसन्सहरूवाला पनि भिडियो बनाउने छु आउने दिनमा. सो तपाईँहरूलाई यही भन्दै म भिडियो यहाँ सकाउँदैछु. एन्ड तपाईँहरूलाई भन्नेछु, मन पऱ्यो भिडियोलाई लाइक गर्नुहोस्, सब्सक्राइब गर्नुहोस् च्यानल. यस्तो माया दिइराख्नुहोस् हामीलाई. धन्यवाद.